Serious. People who've completely changed their political views. What made you change your mind? The reality. Elle used to feel humiliated when a foreigner used the word dictatorship to refer my country. Then years later, Elle realized that H is right to some extent. Elle see through this with my own eyes. It started with the election of 2016. It was going to be my first time voting and I really had to consider if I wanted to vote for Hillary or Trump. I weighed and measured my decision. And even though I was conservative, I decided I would rather have Hillary as president. I told this to some family friends during a church dinner and the whole table told me how wrong I was and that it would be better for me not to vote than to vote for Hillary. I had used my own political reasoning for the first time and everyone shamed me and wanted to make me not vote. That really made me feel small and it made me question whether I really wanted to share the same beliefs with them. I continued to look into politics on my own and eventually stopped being conservative. I'm not really a Democrat. But I'm not Republican either. I voted for Hillary and Biden and will probably vote Democratic again this election. Which is crazy because I used to be so very conservative. Former Republican. The conservative response and denial to the disaster that was the Iraq War was my wake-up call. Before that I pretty much went along with conservative talking points, arrogantly thinking I was the smartest person in the room that really knew how things worked. Turns out I didn't know shit and was just parroting things I heard. Watching my side double down on an obvious disaster and then attacking Obama for not cleaning up our messes fast enough was my wake-up call. It should have happened sooner as I'm not religious and do support the environment and science. I used to be a mildly conservative Christian. Not super right-wing. But I believed in things like gay marriage will ruin the traditional family and abortions should be completely illegal. My political views changed when I left the church and I got out of that echo chamber. I grew up in a sheltered, heavily evangelical Pentecostal home. My views were parroted thoughts spoken of by my parents until I became a teenager. The hypocrites at the churches I attended stuck out like a sore thumb. And, in understanding hypocrites existed, I began looking for more information on the world, information previously withheld from me. I saw it was less politics with my father than it was him putting others down and being superior. I saw it wasn't the love of God, but acts of evil for preachers to spit out such callous, cruel beliefs, such as the one grouping LGBT+ victims of trauma with their perpetrators. I saw it was judgment. And first I was mortified. Then I was angry. I'm still furious. I've only grown more leftist over the years. I also credit my political views shifting to a dear friend from Florida who didn't reject me. Despite me being a judgmental prick. She had every right to. And I wouldn't have blamed her if she did. But her presence in my life enriched me, changed me, and encouraged me to look for understanding in the world beyond the narrow viewpoints I held back. Then, not living with my strict conservative father lol. So I was right-wing in university. Got out into the real world as an engineering consultant. And discovered just how badly corporations are run behind the scenes. And I realized that anyone who says, government should be run like a business, has no idea how businesses are run. And in fact we need the government to protect us from businesses. I was Republican until 2016. I had a pretty big faith crisis that led me to question most every belief I'd held. I voted for Trump at the time because I had really bought into the Hillary is the devil stuff from a young age. a choice that I wholeheartedly regret and didn't repeat in 2020. Now I don't trust anyone. Really. I definitely lean more left now. But feel like the entire system of politics is so corruptible that it's hard to believe what anyone says regardless of their leanings. I was raised hardcore Mormon. My parents were way into the Tea Party and I even went to one of the rallies with them. When I left home, Reddit, yes, seriously, was a huge eye-opener. Getting to see so many people and hear their perspectives made me realize that maybe the gays aren't actually evil and maybe the blacks aren't just gangsters or welfare queens. Now I'm a full-on socialist and have been blocked on my social media by them because they know I'll call out their BS and they don't have answers. I know I could just let things be peaceful, but they are legitimately hurting people while thinking they are doing good, which is the worst part. Not all of them are like that. Some are really hateful, but there are a fair amount who think the world will be better off with no abortions and free markets. More and more I'm realizing that facts won't change their minds, but it's frustrating because there is no evil as pernicious as the one that believes it's good. Hypocrisy. I'm independent now. I thought I was a Republican when I was a kid. A very long time ago. But then I realized I was just being loyal to what the people around were doing and that the Conservative Party was far too cruel to disenfranchised peoples. And that I shared almost none of their other beliefs.